Hello everyone, it's Creepy and Cena.
Hi.
Welcome to the channel. We trust that everybody's having a fantastic day and that you guys are in the best of health.
Yes, with health as always being most important. So a lot of things have happened, huh?
Oh, a great deal have happened. Great deal.
We had a video on cost of living and how we're reflecting back on costs versus last year and this year. So now I was thinking, why don't we do a 3 year ago video? So 3 years ago, that means DR and Portugal. So let's talk about changes to the economy and what things cost in 2020 versus how much they're going to cost now, DR versus Portugal.
Here we go.
Let's go. So of course we're going to start off with electricity, huge cost in a lot of people's lives right now. And the Dominican Republic, with the 3 years that have passed, has seen an increase of 19% overall for electrical prices.
Yes.
So when we left, which was in 2021, the very beginning, we were seeing the changes in 2020 and luckily had enough foresight to say, hey, I see things going up and up and up. Let's go somewhere else.
Right.
The price of electricity in Portugal has also increased, of course, but in the 3 years it has increased by 1.6%, which is pretty stable.
Which is not that bad.
Yeah, not so bad. Food inflation, of course, food prices have gone up everywhere. The United States especially has seen a dramatic rise. But in the Dominican Republic, over the 3 years, they have had a 9% increase in those 3 years. As here now in Portugal, of course, they've had an increase too, 7%.
Right.
So everybody's feeling it. Everybody has been affected by food prices.
Yeah, who not? I mean, you got to eat, so I mean, you go to this grocery store, you're going to be facing those prices.
Yeah. Can't not eat.
Yep.
Unemployment rates, very important because that's going to deal with your crime and everything else. You may not be going to be employed. You may be retired like us. So, but I still look at unemployment rates because it actually is a big determiner on a lot of things.
Yes.
The unemployment in Dominican Republic rate has increased from 5.6% from 2020 to 2023. So they've seen a 5.6% increase. Whereas here in Portugal, over the 3 years, it has always been 6.1 and it is still 6.1. So it has maintained the 6.1% unemployment rate. I told you, I need to say that has to do with the stability of the country and the politics and the this and the that. It's always, it's not like this. It's very stable.
Very stable, yeah.
Yeah, not too much has gone. So cost of living, right? How much more expensive is it to, I'm always going to use the U.S. because the U.S. is where we're from. Right. Where from a lot of you guys are from. The average cost of living in the Dominican Republic is 65% less expensive than in the U.S. Of course. Right, of course. When you're ranking the most expensive to the least expensive, the most expensive being on top, it's not good to be in the top 10. America is 6. So it's a very expensive country to live in. Whereas Dominican Republic is ranked 101. So that's very good. That is when you want to be under, way in 100 or more. Right. Because you don't want to be the most expensive. Now, the cost of living in Portugal is 37% lower than in the United States. And we are the 53rd most expensive country in the world. So we are a little bit more expensive when you're looking like that. Living. I always say you could live modestly or you could live well. And of course, that's a personal choice.
Right. Yes, it is.
That you have to make. Right. How much you have prepared, how much you have, what your budget is, things like that. Now, in the DR, you could live modestly now on a budget of $1,200 a month. Right. Whereas when we were there, when we first got there especially, literally you could live there for $700 to $800 modestly a month. $700 or $800, you were good. Now it is at $1,200. So those people that did not have that high of a budget before may not be able to retire in the DR. Right.
You might want to rethink that. And don't forget, your modesty and our modesty could be two different things too. Because what you think is modest, it might not be so modest to us. Right. That's just how it is. Everybody look at things differently.
But I think most expats want to live well. They want to do entertaining. They might want a little household help. They might want to eat out a lot. Things like that. So depending on what it is, and to me and you, we both said in retirement, we want a really good life, that we deserved a good life and we were going to live a very comfortable, good life. But with that, you would need at least $2,000 in the DR, which before you could do it in 1,000.
In 1,000,
and
easy.
We did it.
We did it. The whole time we were there, we did it.
1,000 to 1,200,
Yeah.
and now it's up to $2,000 to live the way we were living before. In Portugal here, it does offer a lower cost of living in Europe, but to live nicely, and when I say nicely, I mean nice, comfortable, nice, the way we live, it's $2,500 a month.
Right.
And I think we fall right on par with that, because I feel like that's exactly where we're at. We sit comfortable at $2,500 to $2,600 a month. So we're right on par to this is how you could live for that.
For that price, yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is very nice.
I think this is very
could
nice.
not live like this in the U.S. for that price.
U.S. This wouldn't exist in the U.S. It doesn't. It will never exist. That's it.
So now we're talking rents, average rent prices. So what is the average rent in the DR for a 2-bedroom under 900 square feet? And right now that's going for around 500. Remembering that in the DR, that does not always include all the appliances and things like that. So you're may have to bring in and install an air conditioning unit in a room. You might have to bring in your own fridge, your own stove, your own washer, your own dryer. So that's just your average DR apartment, 2-bedroom, $500. In Portugal, for the same size apartment, meaning a 2-bedroom under 900 square feet, but Portuguese have appliances, 9 times out of 10. So with the appliances, it's going to run you $700 US. So we're talking US, I'm not talking euros when I'm speaking. So $700 for the same type of apartment here. So 500, 700, like I said, depends on where you want to live and what your budget is.
Right.
Now, safety. Safety is a huge one, and then I'm going to turn it all over to you, because you know you love to talk about safety and all that. But DR ranks, and now this is where you want the ranking to be high. You want to be in the top 10 because you want to be the safest, because it's going from safest to least safest. The Dominican Republic ranks 81, and that's of course the Global Peace Index that takes a lot of things in consideration for 2023. DR ranked 81 for world's safest country out of 163. So they were right in the middle. Right there in the middle. Right in the middle. Of course, as well, we knew this when COVID hit, that there was a lot of more thefts, violent crimes, pickpocketing, muggings. The increase has happened even more in the last 3 years. And they're saying it happens a lot in tourist hotspots, but it also happens all over. The Santiago went rampant. It was happening during COVID, and I was getting kind of like, whoa. Portugal, on the other hand, is the 7th safest country in the world, according to the Global Peace Index. So there we wanted to be in the top 10. Thank God we are. And DR is right in the middle. So, of course, though, you're still going to have, is there crime? You know, oh, you're saying like it's so safe. No, of course there's crime everywhere.
Where you go,
Where there's people, there's crime. You can't get away from it. But the things you really want to watch out for, especially, is Lisbon and Porto, because they're such touristy areas. You're going to get a lot of pickpocketing there.
You're dumb if you do sometimes, and you're dumb if you don't. But that's just one of the things that go along with it. So prepare yourself. Be well aware of what's happening around the world. So when you get ready to move, you'll know the best thing that you want to do to make sure that everything is going to be good for you and the people that you're bringing with you.
Yes. So 3 years ago, when we were deciding to make the exodus out of the Dominican Republic, and then we finally did the move, people called us crazy, and people said, why? Oh my gosh, well, that's so stupid. What do you think now, looking back at what we avoided? I think we dodged a bullet.
Well, whoever said that, I think they spoke out of season. Because to everything there's a season. So we felt that something was changing, and it did change, because you guys that still live in Dominican Republic, you see the change. I mean, we've had people that move here and told us that things are really went up, the groceries are up, this is up, that's up, the crime's up.
That left the Dominican Republic and moved here.
Yeah, they left the Dominican Republic, and they ended up moving here because they followed us. They didn't want to, they want to be safe, Why live somewhere and you don't work your brains out your whole life, you're retired, and you got to keep looking around behind your back because you don't feel safe. I mean, you might just go move to Brazil.
And it's not just safety, it's quality of life.
Right,
because
absolutely.
Even in the quality of life index, Portugal was 37th in quality of life, you know, and because you don't want to give up quality of life just because, you know, you're going abroad. You want to be able to have a great quality of life compared to other countries. And then when you look at the Dominican Republic, it's 130, and it's underneath places in Africa and Cambodia and Palestine. I mean, places I never thought that it would be under for quality of life, and it only gave it a 37% quality of living, where ours was at we were number 37, and we had 75% quality of living. So I mean, that's the biggest thing when you're deciding where to live.
Right.
Quality.
Right. Yep.
Quality includes everything. So
everything you do.
You point at one thing like health, or you point at one thing like safety, and I feel like it's a whole gambit that leads into my quality of life.
There you go. And it's all in one pot, because you got to be dealing with all that when you move and you relocate. So, in the meantime, between the time, always remember that life is to be enjoyed.
Yes. So as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe if you have not. Always give this video a thumbs up, all of our videos, because it helps that algorithm. That way, you know, you can see some more good quality videos like ours. And remember to hit that notification bell if you'd like to be notified on videos like this and others.
So until the next video, peace.